Hi everyone, it's Lisa Brown with InkandInspirations.com. Thanks for joining me. In this video, we're going to be making another card with this tasty truck set that is so cute. And this time we're going to use the tacos for a taco truck. And this is the card we're going to be making. Now for this card, I used the watercolor pencils, but for today's card, I am going to be using the aqua painter and watercoloring. Okay, so let's get started. I've already done some prep work, so let's go ahead and build the bottom part of the card. I have a piece of, or two pieces of the Cupcakes and Carousels Designer Series paper, and these are cut at 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to use those right here as a background. I like the colors for that Fiesta feel. And so I thought these would be really cute for this little taco truck. So I'm just going to come out a little bit from the edge here. Okay. About 1/4 inch. And then do the same over here on this side. And now when I did this original card, it had that space in the middle that showed the melon mambo. I just wasn't happy with that, so I cut a strip of melon mambo cardstock at 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inches just to layer right there. It gave it a little bit more dimension and it gave it more of a finished look. So let me just put some liquid adhesive there, and whoops, that wasn't good, but that happens, so we'll fix it. We'll use our adhesive remover once that dries and get that shiny dried adhesive off. If it shows, it may be covered up. Okay, so there's our base of our card. Then I have another piece of pumpkin pie cardstock, and it's cut at 3 1/4 inch square, and we're going to use that to layer behind our truck. So I've already started coloring the truck, and let me show you what I've done. I've used already the smoky slate to color this bottom part and the little top vent here, the center of the wheels, and then the ground. Okay, and then I've used Tempting Turquoise for a wash around the truck here, like for the sky, and then it's a little darker in here, but that's so that it's just not stark white behind the tacos and the little embellishments there. So that's already done, so it's good and dry. And now I'm going to take some other colors, and I'm getting these colors that are from the designer paper. Okay, so that's where the pumpkin pie comes from. Now I'm going to take So Saffron. I'm going to pump the ink into the lid, and then I'm not going to use too much water on this. I'm going to color the lights and the reflectors on the truck. So I'm just doing that real quickly, and there we go. Okay, and then I'm also, while I have it out, I'm doing the center little pennant here on the banner, just like that. Okay, so I can set the So Saffron aside. The truck here was watercolored with Bermuda Bay. That's also a color within the designer paper. So I colored that with the aqua painter and pumping the lid, getting the ink from there. But I'm also going to add 2 pennants here in Bermuda Bay. So I'm going to do this one and the end one here, just like that. Okay, I think I'm going to go over this again because I want it to be distinguishable from the Tempting Turquoise background. It's got a little more green in it. Okay, so there we go there. And now I'm going to take my Melon Mambo, pump the lid, open that up, not squeeze any water, but I am to clean the brush, and I'm going to wipe that water so it's almost dry, and then just paint these last 2 pennants with Melon Mambo. and give it a really festive and fiesta look. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my pumpkin pie to tie that color in, and I'm going to do the stripes on the awning, and then the little, I might go over the reflectors because those aren't standing out quite as much as I wanted them to. So I think I'm going to go over those. So here I go with the pumpkin pie. Let me go ahead and do the reflectors here. I want a little bit more color down here on this smoky slate. So let me take care of that. I think I'm going to do this in here again, and then this front one. And I'll just leave that one so saffron on the side there. Okay, so now let me go ahead and get the stripes on the awning. Just really easy watercolor. And when you're watercoloring, it doesn't have to be exact. It's very artsy. Even though there are lines here that we're actually coloring, it's, you know, it can be free form. You don't have to stay exactly inside the lines. Okay. Now, brush that off, and now I am going to take my basic black marker and just scribble a little bit right there. You just need a non-porous surface that you can clean off, and I'm going to pick up some of that, and I've done part of the trim around the windows, but I'm going to do these front too so you can see how I did that. And so I'm just outlining those. I wanted it darker than the smoky slate trim. So I'm just going over it. And you can see I've got some Bermuda Bay that bled into that, but this is covering it nicely. And you don't need too much. Just come down, fill that in. Okay, so now what we have left to do are the tacos. So I'm using Old Olive for the lettuce, crumb cake for the taco shell. Excuse me. Go ahead and get this done first. I'm going to wipe off my brush and pick up some of this crumb cake and do these taco shells. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to do the same with the Old Olive for the lettuce. Pump that lid, bring it down, and then just color that lettuce. And this really makes these tacos stand out, I think, because you've got really contrasting colors from the rest of the truck itself. Okay, and I'm seeing something that I forgot to do, and so I want to do the same thing with the wheels that I did with the rim around the windows of the truck, or the openings of the truck. And I'm just going to paint my tires and make them a little bit darker than the smoky slate around it. Okay, so there is that. And now let's go ahead and start building this up. You could heat that with a heat tool and let it be good and dry. I'm going to try to be very careful and build this. Normally I would let it just sit a bit. So now I'm going to take this 3 1/4 inch pumpkin pie square, apply some glue, and then I'm just going to cock that a little bit to the side like that. Okay? Then I'm going to take our little truck and apply the glue there. And I'm going to square that up where that pumpkin pie is angled behind it. Just like that. And I'm going to hold that a second because it wants to curl because it's still wet. So just hold it down. I stamped this, the truck, and then this, stamp that toward the top of this 3-inch square so that I would have room to stamp the sentiment here. And now to finish off the front, I have one of this stitched 1/8 inch Bermuda Bay ribbon, and I just made a loopy bow okay? And I'm going to use a mini glue dot on the back of it. And I want to give the effect that this bow is going through that paper clip, but it's much easier just to do the faux look and go ahead and take your clip here, and I'm just going to catch it right here like that, and then take the bow and attach it like that, and it's just hanging on there with the glue dot. If you would like, you could use just the paper clip and clip it to either the watercolor paper or the pumpkin pie, but I liked this look with the bow on it. Okay, for the inside, I have a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock with some tacos stamped in basic gray, and then I colored these. Since it's not watercolor paper, I used my blender pen with Crumb Cake and Old Olive, and then just backed it with a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock. I'll have the measurements on my blog. But really on this, if you have like a scrap that you can cut a rectangle out of for Very Vanilla, and then a scrap of your pumpkin pie or whatever color you'd like to use, just use that. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly fitting to the back of your base of your card. You can do whatever, okay? All right, there's your little taco card. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Visit my website at inkandinspirations.com, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.